Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. This is how to fail at stacking silver, because you can. Just because you're stacking silver, it is not guaranteed that you will be successful. There are a lot of ways to make bad decisions. There's impulse buying, there's panic selling, and sometimes the emotional attachment gets so tense and so blinding that we make silly, irrational decisions. And this is going to hopefully help you guys be able to separate that, focus on the reality of these markets, how to see the bigger picture, take that emotional attachment out so you can think logically and realistically. Because a lot of times we want prices to be so bullish, or we want prices to do something so bad, we start almost believing the distortions or the illusions of these markets, which leads into some of the bad choices. Now, this is a prime example. Usually when silver prices are highest, that's when most people are buying it, not selling it. If you could look at a chart of silver prices over the last 10 years, you would say, okay, in 2011, most people should have been selling it. And when it was $15, most people should be buying it, right? Because it's cheaper. You buy it when it's cheaper, you sell it when it's highest. But actually, most people sold when it was $15 and bought it when it was $50. They do the opposite. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is how you can sell yourself short, and it's a lack of awareness, a lack of how these markets move, and it's called panic selling, impulse buying. When $50 silver was happening, a lot of people were thinking the price was going to go higher. So they were holding on to their silver, and they were thinking silver was going to go to the $70 range, then the $100 range. I remember reading tons of articles from that time period, not realizing that it exploded so fast. There was a huge, huge red flag indicator that the price was going to crash, but that ego, that emotional attachment holds on, and it takes away any relevant or any type of approach to it. Your whole decision making, your whole rational decision making skills are out the window, and you're purely basing it off of luck. And at that point, you're basically gambling. And this is not about gambling. This is looking at the chart standpoint from it, basing it on the economy, what's happening from the supply and demand, what's happening on the political side, and applying all of these influencing, factoring in all of these things to be able to make the best educated decisions. And when it comes to silver stacking, it can be extremely pricey, because even though these coins are still, even though silver is silver, you still can be overpaying these coins, or you could sell yourself short. Imagine the people that bought silver at $50 and had to sell it because it never has been back to $50 since 2011. So most of them sold it around $15, $20, more than double their losses. That's a sad thing to see. Now, if you were going to be one of those people that wanted to sell or buy during that time period, the best thing to do is to break it up in portions. If you're going to sell, don't sell all your stack at once. If you're going to buy, don't place a huge order. Keep manage the markets, keep an eye on the markets over the next couple weeks, couple months, and that's how you gauge whether the price is going to be going up or down. So if you are going to buy, let's say silver's $20, and that's a little above your price range for buying it, but you want to start getting into the market of silver. So this is what I would do, at least. So first I would see how much I wanted to buy, and then I would probably divide that by 4, and that would be my first purchase, a fourth of what I really want to. And then over the next couple weeks, maybe a couple months or so, because patience is key, I would see, where's the market's heading. Does it look like it's going to keep going higher or lower? And in the next couple weeks, if it looks like it's going to go higher, I would probably buy another fourth right then. But if it looks like it's going to go lower, then I'd probably hold off and see, wait, silver looked like it might go down to $17. What's the point of me paying $20 if in a couple weeks or a couple months it's going to be 17? So I'm going to hold on, and then once it goes down, then I make another purchase, maybe 50% more. Or when it comes to selling, set a standard, set a price limit on what you're going to sell. Say you're not going to sell anything under $17. So when it goes under $17, you don't have that mind state of, oh man, is it going to keep going lower? Should I sell? And even if you do sell, just don't sell all at once. Have an emergency silver stash if you need to sell. And emergency silver stashes can come in handy because a lot of times you do have to sell your silver. Well, this is if you don't have a savings account or aren't stacking fiat currency on the side, aren't stacking your dollar bills, which you should be before you even get into precious metals. Then have an emergency silver stash. Let's say, you have a tube of American Eagles for emergency situations if you have to liquidate, and stick to that and say you're not going to sell your American Eagles for under $17. So if it does go under that, you at least have a barrier against yourself. There's other ways to fail as well. The longer it takes for you to figure out which type of silver stacker you want to become, the worse off you're going to be. If you can figure this out quick, then that's a very, very, very surefire way to start beginning your journey. Because let's say you don't know which type of silver your stacker you want to be, or what your game plan is really. This means you're going to be buying silver from all different types of the spectrum. You're going to be buying high premium silver, junk silver, generic, which it can be good to diversify, but the quicker you figure out which type of silver stacker you're going to be, the quicker you can start getting the silver that you want, that you're not going to trade in the future for most likely a loss. A lot of people have a lot of silver that they bought early on that they just were like, what was I thinking? A colored American Eagle, why would I buy that? Or a graded American Eagle, why did I pay the premium on it? I could have got 4 ounces of actual silver with this one coin. There's so many things that you could make, but this is another thing I want to go into for a second. You're going to make mistakes. The markets are going to be low. The markets are going to be high. There has to be corrections. There has to be sell-offs. There has to be dips. That's healthy for a market. You never want to see a price just always go up, because that's a huge sign it's going to crash. So with that said, keep in mind when prices are lower right now, this doesn't mean it's time to freak out. It doesn't mean it's time to sell your stack. All this means is you can buy your silver for cheaper, or you can hold on, watch everyone else freak out while you're sitting at home at peace, with peace and serenity, just waiting for it to start rallying again, and then you can do whatever you please. Most likely, people should be buying right now as it's cheaper, lowering your dollar per cost average, especially if you bought higher, because these prices can be desensitized depending upon the individual who's stacking. Right now, $16.60 silver might seem high to you, or high to me, but it could be seem low to you depending on when you got in the markets. I got into silver when it was around $21, so $16 silver seems cheap to me. But if you got into silver when it was $15, this might seem pricey to you. Do you see how people can get desensitized? Just like Bitcoin. A lot of people got in the markets of Bitcoin when it was $20,000. So now that it's sitting at 15 or 10,000 or whatever it's at, you might say, holy crap, Bitcoin's so cheap, like it's crashed. For me, I got it in Bitcoin when it was $1,800. So for me, even $10,000 Bitcoin is extremely high. Do you see how it's all based on perception of the individual? That's the same thing, and that's why the perception is irrelevant. The real price, you need to realize the real price of silver is still undervalued, even if it is at $25. Even if you got in at $15 and it's $10 above, or whatever the case is, whatever the perception is, it still has so much more potential, and silver is still undervalued regardless of when you got into it or not. That's all the emotions that's afterwards, and that emotion is really what distorts people and makes them have bad stacking strategies or decisions. And being prepared, understanding how the markets work, planning, and patience is definitely going to pay off. No pun intended, it will pay off, because silver stacking doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be complex. There's so many beginner stacker videos out there. There's so many tutorials. There's so many walkthroughs. So many people will help you. If you just read the comments of the videos, you can learn so much like I have. There's almost a surefire way. If you really want to be a successful stacker, you can. But this is a warning, because I've also seen a lot of people fail. Now, when it comes to selling, you need to be careful, because Not all your silver can be sold at your local coin shop, so you need to do a lot of research. You need to remember that not every coin you buy is going to be easily sellable. It's really easy to click buy on AppMex, but it's not so easy to sell it. So if you do want to make sure that you're getting the most profits back, the most returns back on your silver, then think about how you're going to sell and stack and set up your strategy from there. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, if you thought that you learned something from this video or just thought it was educational, informational, or just entertaining, make sure to smash that like button. Please make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.